Hi, my name is Corey Minter, and I'm the president of Trinity Employment Specialists, and we are a staffing organization located here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but we staff for our entire region. And one of the main things that we do, that everyone says that they do, but we really put a strong effort into putting quality over quantity and over in trying to help our customers get what they want first and put that in front of our profit model. It's led to the biggest growth of our company. Right now, we are so busy. We're right on the top towards the end of COVID. And COVID, we just dropped to nothing. And now we're going to be experiencing highs in late 2020. I can't believe it. What a crazy year this has been. One of the things that we like to do is I want to inspire other potential future leaders. People that are younger in the workforce, and they're trying to figure out, all right, how is it that I'm going to get to here? I'm here now. I want to get to here. And so I've taken some of the most prolific quotes relating to a career, and I just want to read the quote and talk about it from my experience or just from some wisdom that I've learned myself, and in hope to just inspire people that might be running through a struggle right now. And so one of the things that I learned is when you can make your struggle your purpose. Most people who have struggled the most in their life, they learn their purpose out of it somehow. It's just like, T.D. Jakes gives a really great explanation when he says, listen, you don't get wine until you just crush the grapes. That's how you make wine, is the crushing comes first, and then the fine wine is created. And that really is true of life. And so I want to jump into some of these quotes. And the first one is by Thomas Edison. He's got a really unique story. And in fact, any great successful human being, they don't have to be a famous person. Like if you look up to them and you've seen them succeed, listen, they are going to experience some struggle. So every one of these quotes have something to do with struggle and how they dealt with it. But Thomas Edison said this: "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always try just one more time." I don't know how many times he failed at the light bulb, okay? But it was a lot. Like he failed over and over and over and over and over again. And what Thomas Edison is trying to say is, listen, man, had I given up, I would have never created the light bulb. Listen, that dude, he changed history, not just with the light bulb, but with all sorts of different types of technology, but he was always trying to work it out. Another example, the guy that created WD-40. Why was it called WD-40? Because he failed at it 39 times, and he figured out the 40th time that it was it was a mistake, that he came up with it, and it just worked. I use WD-40 at least once a month. I need to use it on my door hinges right now to my man cave because the stupid thing squeaks. But if I use WD-40, it's going to be gone. But I wouldn't have been able to use that had the guy quit at 39. There was a guy, the largest gold reserve in the entire world, the largest, okay? A little over $1 billion of gold was found through there. It's a really interesting story. There was a geologist who had found more gold for a certain company than any other geologist in the world. But he had been looking and he had found this small little place on his own. Like when he wasn't working for his company, he's kind of trying to find a small little place for himself. So he goes and he finds this place and he buys it. And he just starts digging. He quits his job as a geologist. He starts digging. And he digs and digs and digs and digs. And I believe that they said that he did it for a little over 6 months and found not one single piece of gold. And completely defeated, he sells his claim and gives it to someone else. And the guy that bought it dug 1 foot, they said a little less than a foot, and found the largest gold reserve in the world that the world's ever seen. I just want this to be a reminder to everyone that in the middle of the struggle, still rolling forward and not giving up is just a tremendous it's a tremendous advantage that you're going to have, especially in the millennial generation. Listen, man, if you have this grit to you and you're willing to not give up on struggle, listen, dude, you are going to crush everyone around you. And I hate to bring up the millennial generation. You guys have been beat up so much. I feel horrible for all of you. But it really is a unique trait that I think it's our school system just didn't teach. All right, so let's move on. I love Lou Holtz. I just finished his autobiography just a little bit ago, but he says this: I think everyone should experience defeat at least once during their career. You can learn a lot from it. Okay, I don't need to say anything about that. I've just spent the last 5 minutes talking about it, but Lou Holtz was one of the very best football coaches ever to live. He coached Notre Dame and just was known by all of his players as one of the best motivational people and best mentors that they could ever have. But I don't want to repeat everything I just said just to try to back up Lou Holtz. He's Lou Holtz. Just listen to him. George Lucas, which, by the way, I hate Star Wars. And last night I spent all night long helping one of my buddies create an entire Star Wars exhibit. I don't know what I was doing, but George Lucas says this: dreams are extremely important. You can't do it unless you imagine it. Okay, I want to share with you the most important piece of advice that was ever given to me, and it was actually given to me by a guy that I barely even respect anymore. But, you know, at one point in time, I was so defensive of myself, I would never listen to a mentor. And I finally read a book by John Maxwell that taught me how important it was to ask good questions and sit back and listen. And I finally did this. And I asked this guy this question after listening to that advice. I said, what do you know now that you wish that you knew back then? What's the best piece of advice? And he said, I'll tell you what. One of the things I started doing is I started imagining where I wanted to be, and I would visualize it every single day. He said, for me, I did it when I ran. But he said, I would tell myself every day, you're a multimillionaire, you own multiple companies, and you're a really great father. And he would visualize those things happening. And this very much resonated with me. And so I began, and I did it in the shower, but I would dream about what my house looked like. I would dream about what my business looked like, and I knew that I would own multiple companies. I would dream about being a great father. Now listen, I'm a screwed up individual that's trying to do the very best that I can. However, I have seen an unbelievable amount of success. Like, I can't even hardly believe it myself, but I want you to know every single thing that I imagined for months, I still imagine it. I've passed all of those things by a country mile, like way past them. And I want to share with you how unbelievably powerful your imagination is. And it's really important for you to dream about where you want to go and really have that as a part of your life moving forward. And find a place, find a time where every single day you tell yourself, and then you begin to visualize yourself where you want to be. If you put some action to that, where it's a lot easier to put action to it, you will not believe. You won't believe it. It's going to it'll change your world if it's like me. Listen, if Trinity can help you in any way with your career path, with direction, we would love to be a resource for you. We're one of the top staffing firms in the Tulsa area and in the entire region of Missouri and Kansas and Texas and Arkansas. Please give us a call at 918-622-2588, or you can go online and visit us at trinityemployment.com.